The TFFL webcast is filmed in front of a live internet audience. All right, welcome back, TFFL owners and viewers. I know we've got at least one live viewer out there. Welcome back to another TFFL webcast. It is Wednesday, April 4th. The 2018 TFFL NFL offseason's finally starting to heat up. NFL free agency is sort of come and gone for the most part. NFL draft coming up in just a little bit. We've had a couple of big TFFL trades we're going to talk about. And with our new commissioner, Terry Rogers, here, we have lots of new business, league business to talk about. Yeah, welcome to the 2018 TFFL season. We're going to kick things off tonight. Probably be back here again after the NFL draft, talking about some rookies. Anyway, lots to talk about. Let me get our panel introduced. And we'll start with our new commissioner, Terry Rogers. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Our departed commissioner, Chief.
Good evening.
IT Director, Hank.
Good evening. Apologies on difficulties, and as usual, here we are, though.
Hey, we're working out the kinks.
Yes.
And Berto, not only proud owner of the Giant Killers, but owner of Sasha's Stash in the TFBA. Defending their title there this year, back in the championship game against Terry's White Chocolate team this week.
Excellent. Good to be back.
Fourth year in a row in the finals for White Chocolate.
Nice work.
Wow.
All right. So, hey, as usual, we're going to start with TFFL trivia. I'm very excited. I think I've got a good trivia question befitting Terry's the start of Terry's reign as commissioner. And in fact, it is such a good question. I may not have the right answer myself. And so if you guys fact check me, and we'll be able to fact check this as a group, I'm sure. If I get this wrong,
tell Bill to get ready with the archives.
five points for each of you. If I get it wrong, I'll give you 2 points for the correct answer, assuming I've actually got it right. So I want to know how many franchises have never had a single one of their owners serve this league as commissioner? I hope I've got this right, because I'll be offending somebody if I've forgotten them. But let me know how many that is. And
current franchises.
Of the 12 current franchises, the Mongols are now checked off that list. How many are left? All right. I'm kind of guessing by our collective lack of preparation that we don't have a graphic with our draft order.
We do not. No, we're coming in blind.
I don't know if it's large enough, but here is our draft order. I can read it off. We got the K Wheels, the Mongols, the Devils at 3, Hams 4, Lizards at 5, the Packers via the Aliens at number 6, Giant Killers at 7, the Sponge, the Packers again via the Aliens, originally with the Senators at that pick. Number 10 is the Senators via the Beavers. 11, the Packers with their 3rd first-round pick. And 12, the Boba Fetts.
All right. So we'll be doing some mock drafts down the line.
Packers were what? 6, 8, and 11?
6, 9, and 11.
Yep.
9 and 11.
Wow. Berto, I don't like that at all.
I hate that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on and get to TFFL business. A lot of important things to talk about. For those tuning in, let's tackle these things right away.
Wait. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
That's all right.
No, go ahead. Continue.
Terry, I know I think I overlooked the rules announcement. We have all voted. Any new rules? Let's just
Let's cut right to the chase. We had 6 rules on the 2018 official rules ballot. None passed.
Maybe that's why I don't remember it.
Yeah, there was one that received 6 votes, one fewer than needed to pass. That was number 2, the off-season IR, where you could, if one of your players was on IR or the PUP, before the keeper deadline, you could place him on the IR list. Would not count towards your keepers, but you would have one less IR pick in the season. That came the closest.
I guess this means we have a perfect league.
We do.
Right.
We definitely do.
Don't need to change anything.
Right. I know you emailed us about this recently. The next big thing is our draft location.
Yes. Well, where the draft location stands is we haven't had any proposals. I had given Adam some time to come up with Austin, but it appears that that's not in the cards. I'll send him another email, but at this point, I believe we're going to ask Berto to look at Myrtle Beach and see if we can do that again.
All right. I don't think there's any objections on this panel.
No.
I'm not going to object to that. No. The only thing somebody said, we were talking about that, we should have bought a place, man. We should have bought a place there 10 years ago as a group. We'd have so much equity into it now. We'd all be making money at it.
We'd be and
Then we would have the perfect fantasy football league.
We would, because we'd be rich. Not really.
A revenue generating fantasy football.
If you really believe that, we should do it now, so we're not saying that again in 10 more years.
Well, Berto, find us a house we can put a down payment on.
sure. What's our price range?
You know, I don't even know what they cost. We need a good one that'll house all of us and that we, could rent in the summer and make some money off it.
So we'll have $25,000 dues one year instead of $250.
That'll work.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
All right. So if anybody really objects to Myrtle Beach, I'm looking at you, Michael Giovenco. Now is the time to like in the next 24 hours, get Terry a proposal for something else, or else Berto is going to go shopping for us.
So is that what we're going to say? 24 hours to. I mean, I still think we got a week or two, I'd say, before.
Okay.
All right, we can make it. We can make it a week or to the weekend.
Give it another week.
All right.
Then we'll pull the trigger.
All right.
All right. Terry, what else? New cabinet positions, conference presidents, other new initiatives?
No new initiatives. As we've said, we've already have a perfect league. But no, I consider my role as the commissioner is to kind of keep order. And I serve at the pleasure of the other owners. So any new initiatives, I believe, would be driven by the owners. But as of this point, no one's reached out to me. And as far as the cabinet positions, I would love for the owners in their current cabinet positions to stay on. If anyone would rather not do that, then contact me and we can hold a vote or see who else wants to go. But I would love for that to remain status quo and ensure a smooth transition.
Terry, are you in the attic?
No, I'm in the garage. There's quite a few things going on in my house right now, so completely
Webcast not being one of them.
Okay, let's talk about some football players. We've had a lot of activity in the NFL, some of which has some consequences around the TFFL. So let's start by talking about NFL free agency, some trades in the NFL, some players on the trading block. You even had I'm trying to think of the retirements. Matt Forte retired. Martellus Bennett probably doesn't affect anybody, but I know Nick was sad to see Matt Forte go. So let me just turn it over to you guys. I want you to take one particular move that you want to dissect a little bit that probably does have some TFFL consequences. Tell me your favorite transaction that people should be aware of and what it's going to do for keeper lists and draft positioning and that sort of thing.
I like the Kirk Cousins deal. Go Vikings. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. We're all in. I mean, now, I have no idea if Kirk Cousins is worth the money they're going to pay him. They're expecting him to win a Super Bowl within this time. That's the reason you do it. Where does that put him on the fantasy trade value? I don't know that they're going to ask him to throw for 40 touchdowns. They want him to run the offense. They got a bunch of running backs. They got a great defense. And I think they want a capable leader in the role that can throw a few touchdown passes and get out of some situations and not turn the ball over. How does that translate to fantasy? I don't think very well, but I hope that he is the biggest transaction in regards to the NFL, so the Vikings win the Super Bowl.
Period.
That's it. We're all in. Winning this year. That's the goal.
Definitely an upgrade. Good move for the Vikings. How about the I'll refrain from talking about all the mishmash of the Giant Killers scrubs moving around. But I will talk about Jordy Nelson to the Raiders. So all of the back and forth about the Jordy Nelson trade and his value and getting old and well, he's not getting old. Does he still have something left in the tank? So this guy's got a lot to prove at 33 years old on the Raiders now without Aaron Rodgers. So that should be – I think that's going to be an interesting one to watch. And for the Raiders, not having Crabtree anymore, they lose Crabtree and they get Jordy Nelson. Let's see how that plays out. So the big question is, does Jordy Nelson have anything left in the tank? And, does that justify some of the moves that were made for Jordy Nelson?
Yeah, I think we can here, but I think we can call that trade a win for the Aliens. Last year's Aliens Hams trade. So good on you, Stick. But one kind of, I don't want to say under the radar because it certainly made its share of waves, but not talked about to the extent of some of the other player movement has been Dion Lewis. The Titans, I think, could have some significant TFFL value. And here's Hank. All of a sudden, finally we have Derrick Henry stepping out of the shadow of DeMarco Murray, and here comes Dion Lewis, who is a different kind of back, certainly. Dion Lewis can probably hide behind Derrick Henry pretty effectively, but he's going to get touches. He's going to get a lot of touches. They ain't giving that contract to just come out on third downs and to return kicks. So it seems to me a true maybe 50-50 timeshare that certainly elevates Lewis to, if not keeper, maybe first-round draft pick status. And obviously Derrick Henry is not going to be a keeper, but maybe he's not going to be that number one workhorse dominant that we thought he was going to be, as last year was wrapping up.
Let me just comment on that as the Derrick Henry owner in the room. I'm hopeful, and I'm putting a spin on it, that what it means is that he doesn't have to carry it 30 times a game and can instead carry it 18 times a game and get 90 yards and 2 touchdowns as they get in close every game. But I agree, it's going to absolutely put a hit on him, but hopefully it takes some of the the brutality that he's going to take over the year and keeps him healthier longer. So, but yeah, that's definitely going to change the complexion of how Tennessee plays.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta like it's a win for Derrick Henry, I think, because you get rid of a back who's another goal line back for somebody who is, Dion Lewis is not a goal line back, although he did get in the end zone a lot with the Pats. But I don't know. I think you got to look at that. I think you got to look at that trade off as a positive thing. And you got your goal line back. You got. I agree with Chief. He's more than a third down back. He's going to get there, but it's less competition. Less competition for touchdowns.
I think that's a good spin. If I'm Hank and I've protected Derrick Henry for 2 years now, and I thought he was going to be the guy, and they go sign Dion Lewis, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah,
but all that said, Berto, is true. He is the goal line back.
See, I told Hank when this happened, I was not that concerned about Dion Lewis taking a lot away from Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was not going to be a 150 yard a game guy. It's just not what he does, and he wasn't going to catch passes on third down anyway. So I don't see Dion Lewis getting 1,000 yards. I think Dion Lewis is going to come in, run for 500 yards, catch the ball for 500 more. Henry's still going to do what he was going to do. He's going to get 1,000 yards on the ground and 12 touchdowns.
And a lot of it's going to be with Mike Vrabel and whoever the OC is down there, the strategy. Because let me tell you something. If they go hurry up offense, it's going to be Dion Lewis in there every play. If they decide to do that a lot. And again, we're putting the cart well before the horse. But, just to and Terry, I think, brought out what I was trying to say. You hold this guy, and he knows because he had Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman for a couple of years. And you hold both of them, one finally moves, and you get all excited, and all of a sudden, another legitimate threat to the carries moves right in. But, that's the NFL.
It is. And so I'll put as much positive spin on it as I can, and we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I'm keeping Derrick Henry, and I've been waiting for him to be the guy. And I do think that Dion Lewis maybe is more complimentary into the kind of plays they might run where Derrick Henry wouldn't be the guy anyway. So I hope it's a net positive in keeping him healthier longer.
The signing I wanted to bring up, I think, was probably the most surprising one of NFL free agency. Jerick McKinnon going to the 49ers on a huge contract. He's going to be the #1 running back there. Presumably they may draft somebody else, but he's going to get a ton of touches. And we're going to talk a little bit about Melvin Gordon, and I'm sure more than one of you is upset that I gave some first-round picks to Ralph. Ralph, though, really helped himself with this Jerick McKinnon sign. He suddenly had 5, strong starting NFL running backs. He was able to – he may trade another guy in addition to Gordon if he wants to, and still have 3 studs there. So that was a big gift to the Amsterdam Packers by Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers.
Yeah, and a little bit of a takeaway from the potential of Matt Breida being a keeper. So that was part of my thinking last year when I drafted in the second round. I thought that Hyde wouldn't be back in 2018, and if he showed well, then he would have a chance to be carve himself a significant role in the backfield, and he played well at the end of the year. But like you said, you don't pay Jerick McKinnon that much and not play him. So unless he happens to get hurt, God forbid, in the preseason, it looks like it's his job to run with. I mean, he's too similar to Breida in build and to strengths to expect them both to get significant playing time.
And let me bring up one other one, and it's the one that just broke a couple days ago. Brandon Cooks going from the Patriots to the Rams. And the reason I bring it up is Thornburg told me he has already heard from 5 owners asking him whether being able to pair Jared Goff and Brandon Cooks makes him more likely to keep Goff over Aaron Rodgers. I'm not necessarily sure I see that. I don't think Cooks is an automatic 1,000-yard guy, given that Robert Woods may be the #1 receiver in that offense. Given that they've got Gurley catching a ton of passes, that Cooper Kupp is going to catch a ton of passes. I still think Bill is blowing smoke. I think he's going to keep Aaron Rodgers, but apparently a lot of owners were asking him about this. What do you guys think?
Well, Bill, if you're watching, I think that if you got 2 good quarterbacks and you can maybe, get something for one of them, or, you're going to use a keeper slot and go back and forth all year. Thornburg's got a decision that he has to make. And, we know he loves Aaron Rodgers. I think there's something that he's got to do rather than try and roll with both of them.
Well, Thornburg reached out to me and said we need to have a talk about a quarterback, as a few other owners have done.
Yes.
And I didn't get the impression, and maybe I misinterpreted, but I didn't get the impression he was calling to offer me Aaron Rodgers. I think he's looking to talk up Jared Goff and then trade him. That's what I think he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, let's be honest. If the Mongols somehow could trade for a pairing of Goff and Cooks, what a wonderful addition that would be to your keeper list.
Yes, it would.
All right.
I have 10 picks in the first 62, so maybe I'll make a trade this summer.
Speaking of trades, let's shift to TFFL trades making some waves. Let's start with the Melvin Gordon trade. We brought it up a little bit. It's the big one of the last week. I'm not going to sit here and babble at the start. Why don't you guys pick it apart or tell me if you liked it at all, and I'll try to defend it in a moment.
I'm upset you did it because it's with Ralph, but I understand why you did it. Hey, you know, you made a lot of moves. Like I said in my email, you made a lot of moves to put yourself in a position to make a trade like that. So all of the other trades you made, whether it was Jordy Nelson or other things that happened, you put yourself in a position to get a stud running back. And I have no issue with it. I think it was a good move on your part. I hate to see Ralph with all those first-round picks. And frankly, still looking at his keeper list, you know, another couple of guys to shed.
Yep.
That sucks. But good luck deal. And it was a lot, but you know, again, you're putting it out there, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, what, you know, without being privy to the you know, negotiations, you know, when Stick targets a player or Stick sees someone that he likes, he is pretty firm in his offers and he goes after it. And, you know, obviously that's what happened here. You know, I don't know what was the first offer, but I know you come out of the gate pretty strong when you like a player. So, you know, this is just another guy you identified as value and went after him. So that's why you had a lot of assets to trade. The first rounder in 2019, I mean, if you want to nitpick, but you're a better team now. So,
yep.
Go.
I've told Stick already, Melvin Gordon has to deliver. And if he does, then maybe it's worth it. It's a ransom of a bounty that Ralph collected to get a player that, you know, I like Melvin Gordon. He's not a top 5 guy. He's maybe on the outside of the top 10. You know, I don't know. And so if he's great, wonderful, then it's worth a lot. But I don't know if it's worth as much as was paid.
Yeah, and again, I think I mentioned it, and I don't know if the fact checkers have been on it. You know, I think, you know, just intuitively, this is the highest price ever paid for a player in a trade in TFFL. I can't imagine someone going for more than 3 first-round picks. Although maybe you'd say 2 high first-rounders would be worth more. You know, and I think it comes down to kind of what Hank was just saying. I don't love Melvin Gordon. You know, if Stick traded those picks and came back with Leonard Fournette or Ezekiel Elliott, I would like it a heck of a lot more. Yes. Gordon seems to be a little injury prone. He seems to be – I wouldn't put past the Chargers to draft a running back high this year. I mean, he just doesn't seem like a workhorse type of back. And again, for the other sake, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think the player is worth that much. But again, this is the NFL we're living in right now. If there is a half dozen running backs who are, you know, 3 down ball carriers in the league right now. I mean, the shitty running backs go for first-round picks. So for a bona fide starter, you know, 3 is, you know, isn't astronomical. It's a little high. It's not ridiculously so.
Would you rather have Melvin Gordon or Derrick Henry? We just poo-pooed Derrick Henry and his opportunities with Dion Lewis coming in. But if you had a chance right now, would you rather have Derrick Henry or Melvin Gordon? I'd take Derrick Henry. I'll say that.
I'll say this.
I love either one of them.
I wonder if this trade happened last year to Stick make this trade because it's a deeper running back class. I think you look this year, it's not as deep. You know, you're going to have 1 or 2 running backs in the first round. So it's a different type of draft this year, I think, maybe with running backs. So maybe Stick doesn't make it if it's last year, but Stick, I have to feel that you looked over the landscape. You kind of did your initial mock, you saw who you were going to get, and you were like, you know what, this isn't cutting it for me. Getting a veteran wide receiver at number 8 or whatever, and another player isn't, doesn't cut it. And Chief, I think, rightly said before that, those 2 first-round picks versus a number 3 overall or a number 2 overall, it's a world of difference. So,
all right. So let me tie a bunch of things together here, using that as a jumping-off point. I feel a little vindicated on the Jordy Nelson trade because I did kind of see that decline coming. But I will not try to claim that I won that trade, because I think I went into that trade hoping that Kramer's draft pick in 2018 here was going to be a top 3 draft pick, and it ended up being number 9. And so now, to the other point you just made, Berto, so now I've got the number 6 and number 9 picks in this year's draft. And as I told Hank earlier this week, at best, I'm going to hope to come out of those picks with another Dante Foreman type player, another Kenyon Drake type talent, a guy who, is young, talented, probably not getting a ton of carries in 2018. I already have Drake. I already have Foreman. I already have Jay Ajayi, who scored 0 touchdowns last year and is not a guarantee of anything this year. I've got Carlos Hyde. We'll talk about him, I think, in a moment, who may very well be totally worthless if the Browns take Saquon Barkley. And so I really felt like, as I always do, you got to go get stud running backs when they are available. The only team in this league who was going to trade a running back of any quality was Ralph, and he almost had to. As for the draft picks and the price I paid, I will tell you, I started with an email to him telling him I'll give you 2 first-rounders. I think I got back the same type of reply I just got back from Terry on another offer. I'm still evaluating my off-season plan, blah, blah, blah. I wrote back 2 weeks later.
Form letter?
Yeah. Wrote back 2 weeks later with the subject line of 3 number 1s, and we got a trade done in 24 hours. And I overpaid. You have to overpay if you're going to get talent. Nobody's going to give away a top running back for equal value. You've got to overpay, and I did. And Gordon, to Hank's question, Gordon has scored 12 touchdowns each of the last 2 years.
Yep.
I think I haven't looked at our league scoring, but I think he was the number 5 running back scorer last year, somewhere in that 5 to 8 range. That's a number 1 running back, and I like Gordon. Frankly, I actually made an offer for Delvin Cook. Ralph didn't want to trade him. I'm thrilled with Gordon. I did not pursue Elliott or Fournette. Maybe I should have. I don't think Ralph was going to give either one of those guys up. But I'm thrilled with Gordon. And he's got to come through, or this trade is trouble for me, because I traded away, 2 number 3s to Hank last year for DeMarco Murray, a number 2 to Terry for Des Bryant, and now 3 number 1s. So the guys I've got have got to score the points now.
It's fun seeing the aliens going from seller to buyer. It's been a few years.
Okay, enough about the aliens. One other big trade I wanted to bring up. We don't need to talk about it long. It doesn't involve any players, but I thought it was significant nonetheless. Beavers, if I've got this right, gave up their first rounder this year. Gave up I think a 4th rounder maybe next year. Yep. Got two second rounders in return. Is that 1 second rounder this year, 1 next year?
That's right.
Okay. So the significance here is the Beavers, somewhat like the aliens, deciding that the back half of the first round is not going to yield any great value for them. Pick up an extra second rounder in the process. Senators, who didn't have their first round pick, now get back into the first round. And so I guess the big question is for all of you, if you've done any looking at the NFL draft, is this a year where you're going to find strong rookie talent in the second half of the first round? And I think that the big problem is there aren't any game-breaking wide receivers that make our rookie pool strong in the first round. That's all about the running backs, and they tail off at a certain point.
I think a lot of this will really get more interesting after the NFL draft, and we see what college players land where and in what situations. I think we're going to learn a lot more about the players as well. I hope we're going to have Thornburg come on after the draft. We can talk about some of these signings because he's going to know about the college talent. I don't watch college football, so I don't know much about it. And I know Calvin Ridley's good. He'll go somewhere hopefully that'll be exciting. I'm sure there's some other great receivers that'll come out. A couple of tight ends I know that are good.
You should pick Sony Michel at number 1, the running back from Georgia. Fantastic.
He's the guy I should take. Sony Michael.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, especially if the Vikings draft him, I should take him for sure, right?
Look him up.
Yeah. I will. I will be surprised. I will submit the number 1 draft pick right now without knowing what team in the NFL he will be on. I'll submit it whenever you'd like it.
All right. I think Terry might have already answered my final question about TFFL trades. I wanted to know where do you think the next big trade is going to come from? Who needs to be active in the offseason here? Mongols obviously are one of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a 7-man keeper list. I probably have 5 legitimate keepers and some iffies. So I've got a decision to make. I've got a lot of picks, and I'd like to turn that into some keepers.
Sounds like you should talk to Ralph. Let's get Ralph on the episode, and we'll have matchmaking.
Yeah, I like that.
Ralph.
I'll be a little surprised if I don't trade off somebody.
I like that idea, Hank. We'll get Ralph up there behind the curtain.
Yep.
Owner number 2. Owner number 2. What would you do for Leonard Fournette?
Who would you trade? Would you trade Ezekiel Elliott for the number 2 overall pick?
All right. Okay, let's talk about the NFL draft. A nice segue there. I asked you guys to look around at the projected keepers and tell me which owners should be the most nervous heading into the NFL draft, most at risk of having one of their keepers get kind of wiped off the map by a rookie. And we've already given away one of the answers, which is obviously Carlos Hyde.
That question makes me think too hard. But think of it logically, I would think that the team with the shakiest keepers would be the obvious answer, which would be the Giant Killers. I've got 5 keepers for him, and frankly, Alex Collins and Corey Davis aren't really what I would call solid keepers. But then again, the same thing. If Alex Collins loses his job, if Kenneth Dixon comes back strong or whatever, Alex gets hurt, or Gronkowski decides to retire last minute, I don't know. Is it really hurting? Is it really gonna hurt the Giants? It might take him from a 3-win team to a 2-win team, but I don't think it's really going to ruin the season for him. As far as teams that could really, it's tough. I did not know this question was coming. I guess if I don't hear Buffalo, so losing McCoy could hurt me a little bit.
That's kind of one of the wild cards I was going to bring up.
That would be significant.
You could see a team like Buffalo.
Richie's got to deal with the Odell Beckham, madness. Although if it's a trade,
your scenery may help him.
Yeah. So I'll let someone else take a stab at it. I've got nothing.
It's too early to tell. It's too tough to play that game, I think, so far. I mean, that's for the next webcast post draft. Let's dissect into that.
I'm obviously going to be sweating the Browns in the first round.
They're taking Barkley. They're going to get him at 4.
If they only guaranteed Hyde that first year, then I think they take Barkley.
They're going to take him.
It's done.
I don't know how much of his contract is guaranteed, but I use the same argument that Chief made about McKinnon, which is the Browns gave Hyde a lot of money. and they knew they'd be in this situation with the opportunity to take Barkley. I guess I want to believe that they weren't going to give Hyde that money if they knew they were going to take Barkley.
Yeah.
It's phony money, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's the question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed. Yeah, exactly.
I think if the Browns take Barkley, I'm probably not keeping Hyde.
Just to respond to Chief's comment about the killer's keeper list, yes, it is not great. We will be bargain shopping. I have August 27th circled in my calendar.
There will be bargains available. Six got about 2 teams worth of keeper candidates. So, seems like a natural match.
Stick, can I have your team B?
Roster.
Right.
Can I have your team B?
I'm hoping to get some of my draft picks. We'll see. The other player I'd thrown out there that might be worried, or the owner that might be worried, is Hank. The Redskins have been talking about taking a running back early in the draft, which would hurt the value of Samaje Perine.
Yep.
But
he's a sketchy keeper as it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's not going to hurt you too much.
And we'll see how that goes. And I guess I'm less. If I wasn't as confident with the number 1 pick, I'm very confident with the number 1 pick. So you've put him in the mix as well. Obviously I'd like him to be somebody that's going to play and I could keep. They're going to develop. If he's not, I honestly, one of the guys I'd look at again is Derek Carr. I mean, he just got Jordy Nelson as a toy. So
Bill's got rose-colored glasses on. He just sees Saquon Barkley. Everything else is just
right.
Yes, and a healthy Deshaun Watson, Julio Jones in his prime, Rookie of the Year, Saquon Barkley, and we'll figure the rest of it out.
Start from there.
Yes.
All right, I've got a TFFL trivia answer for you. Hopefully I've got the correct answer myself.
We didn't need to name the teams, right? It was just a number.
I'll take the teams. I mean, to get to the number, you sort of had to figure out the teams. But
all right.
Remember, if I get this wrong, 5 points for all of you. If I've got it right, I'll give you 2 points for the correct answer. How many franchises have not served the TFFL with a commissioner from their ownership ranks? I see 1, 3. Did anybody have 2?
I think it's just the Beavers.
I've got the Beavers. And again, I hope I'm not offending somebody.
Has Nick ever been commissioner?
The Lizards?
They were commissioner in '98.
Rich was no.
You guys are missing somebody right here. I have never been commissioner.
Yeah, you have.
No. When was I commissioner?
You were commissioner before I was.
Like 8 years ago.
Was I commissioner?
Like that. That's gone.
I got nothing there then. When was I commissioner?
That's great.
You were
like 3 commissioners ago.
So did Rich ever serve as commissioner? I don't think so.
So I had Beavers, Devils, and Lizards. I had 3.
Nick did serve as commissioner for all of about like 2 weeks before we threw him out.
That doesn't count.
He was technically commissioner.
Yeah. I remember he was commissioner.
It was a terrible experience. But I think the Beavers and the Lizards.
I think 3 should be accepted under protest of that Devils commissionership.
Well, Richie watches. He'll let us know.
I hope I'm not overlooking the Berkman commissionership, but I don't think so.
I think Phil should get -1 for not knowing he's been commissioner.
That's fine. I had no idea. It's gone. When was this? When did I do it?
I'm going to text you right now.
Right before me.
2004?
No, 2000.
Want me to send you some commissioner reports?
Please. I know I wrote the column. I did the column a lot, but I didn't realize I was actually commissioner.
Wait a minute, guys! We're missing an opportunity here. Phil, no, you never.
No, never.
You're due. You're due.
You want me to be commissioner? I can't remember what I did it last time.
All right. Well, on this classic note, we will wrap up another TFFL webcast.
That's insight into the mind of Phil Hawken these days.
There you
no
go.
mind whatsoever.
By the way, our newly elected commissioner doing the webcast in the garage is that's a beautiful thing.
That's a new one.
It is. That's a new one. Berto, get the tech guy over to Terry ASAP.
Will do.
But Terry, you're a good addition to the team. Chief, always glad to have you.
Yeah, my if I got that one, which I guess is pending whether or not Rich was commissioner or not, I'm playing for the guest team now.
All right, there you go.
There you go.
I'm texting Richie right now.
So for Phil's scorekeeping, who guessed 2 correctly?
Nobody gets 2.
All right.
So me and somebody else guessed 1, and I didn't know who I was guessing. I guessed myself. I'm wrong. I'm definitely wrong.
I guess 3.
You guessed 3.
I guessed 1. I guessed Beavers.
I'll leave it up to the scorekeeper to decide if Berto gets a point for.
I don't think the Devils commissionership should count. I think it should.
You guys are gonna have to rule on that because I don't know. I thought the Devils were commissioner.
Richie was never TFFL commissioner.
Okay.
The answer is 2.
All right.
There's 2.
All right. Okay, so we're going to be back here. I think in mid-May we'll convene after the NFL draft. I'm going away on vacation in early May, but we'll be back to talk about Saquon Barkley leading the K-Wheels, several other rookie running backs finding NFL homes, and a lot of quarterbacks. They're not going to be first rounders, I don't think, in the TFFL, but lots of NFL teams getting new quarterbacks at the top of the draft this year. So we'll have lots to talk about, and then full steam ahead with the 2018 season. Terry, whatever you need for draft location proposals, hopefully that'll come in the next few days, and we'll start nailing that down.
Okay, that's the next thing.
All right, guys. Good to see you all. Good luck to your teams in the NFL draft, and we'll see you in a month or so. Take care.
Good night.